Here at the Giver Marketing Network, we don't leave you drifting out in space. We connect you to a coach who will help you build and grow your marketing business. Our process acts as a guide on how to connect with other businesses, maintain good relations, and establish a presence on the Giver Marketing Network. Each member within this collaborative group will have the opportunity to leverage your talent and influence, a true network effect. If you are looking to collaborate on more projects, welcome to the Giver Marketing Network, the most trusted and highest rated collective of specialists on the planet. Here we have a group of like-minded professionals who focus on making valuable introductions and helping each other grow by teaming up. Imagine Upwork meets a network and a coach. The talent collectively includes services like visibility and SEO, creating logos, designing websites, managing social media, outreach messaging, visual storytelling, and much more. Think of what you could do with laser-focused allies, strengthening your business while offering your talents to the entire network. Click near this video for more information.
Hello. Oh, I'm so excited. We've got Anna Boulier in the house today.
That is right.
This is going to be so much fun. Hello, shout out to Kingdom Warriors and Prepared Group and all those that we're collaborating with, Selling with Dignity. We've got so many friends out there that are going to be joining us today. And I am so excited because we have Anna in the house. Oh,
thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have some fun today. Oh, my goodness. Now, Anna, you are like this creative guru. I'm just going to say, I love what you do. And so I am just excited to share about your new project that you're working on and how you got where you are today. And you know what? Give us a little backstory, because I know you're an expert with marketing and branding, and that's kind of been a wheelhouse that you've been playing in, but that's not always where you start, and that's not necessarily where you're going. So talk to us a little bit about what you're up to.
So, yes, it's crazy. I was on here a couple months ago and gave a little speech about how I became a brand designer. But I actually want to jump back to when I was in high school. At the age of 14, I started developing symptoms that turned out to be fibromyalgia. I was not diagnosed until I was almost 21. And the doctor looked at me 2 months before my 21st birthday and said, "You have fibromyalgia. This is as good as it's going to get. You are going to need to get a handicap sticker and hope you die soon." And that's exactly what she told me. Wow. And so first of all, I started looking for a new doctor, but I did get that handicap sticker because fibromyalgia means you're in pain all the time. And so going to college, especially in Atlanta, it was a lot of walking. And I remember people coming up to me and seeing that handicap sticker and then looking at me and thinking, they would actually say, "You shouldn't have a handicap sticker. Who'd you take that from?" And so that was my first taste of what I call hidden disabilities. Mm-hmm. And that's everything from fibromyalgia, MS, diabetes, gluten allergies, all of it. Mm-hmm. So when I went to college, I was going to go into study interior design and architecture. And my goal was to create healthy living places, go into healthcare design. My senior thesis was on work-live communities that instead of being top and bottom were horizontal. So anybody with any sort of physical disability wouldn't have to do stairs, but could still live and work. I ended up not going into healthcare design because the market crashed and you couldn't find a job in that field. So I moved back home and after some time started working at a carpet company designing carpets for hotels and country clubs all over the world. It was a great job. I worked with great people and I thought I could do this for the rest of my life, but it wasn't where my heart had been. Mm-hmm. But it was a good job. I eventually moved into management because I thought that's the next logical step. But it wasn't for me. I needed that creative outlet and management wasn't giving it to me. So in 2020, I left all of that, started my own design business, started being a graphic designer, doing everything for everybody, and then slowly niched down to be a brand designer. And if you had asked me before November, what are you going to be for the rest of your life? I would have said, oh, I'm going to be a brand designer, and been happy and fulfilled. But on November 29th, I put a 10% deposit down on a gluten detection sniffing service dog. And my sweet little Barley was born November 8th. It's a girl. And over the next 18 months, I'm going to be fundraising for $50,000 to pay for this service dog. It's a big commitment, but the freedom that I'll gain from it is worth all of it. Recognizing that it's a big amount in a short amount of time, after a lot of prayer and talking with family, I recognized that I kind of need to step away from my design business and focus on this. But it was exciting because it means I'm going to be blogging, talking about my journey, writing, all the things that I love. Well, about a week after I made this decision, I felt like God said, I want you to do something else too. And he placed on my heart to do a nonprofit called Access Unleashed, where I basically educate and share and advocate for people with all sorts of hidden disabilities and help them fundraise and advocate for their own service dogs. And some people would say, wow, you went completely in different directions from carpet designer, brand designer to now running a nonprofit. But the amazing thing is, all of those steps just led me to where I'm at. I know how to market. I know how to network. I know how to create a brand. And a nonprofit is a brand and it's a business, and I can do all of that. So even though in some people's eyes it might look like I've gone completely 180, in honesty, I just did 360 and got back to where my heart was. But everything I've learned in between then is just a stepping stone to where I am now.
Wow, your story just warms my heart. You know, my daughter-in-law has MS, and it's one of those, like you said, those hidden ones that people don't always know unless there's a flare-up and something's going on. So I'm going to guess that a lot of people that are watching this, feel free to put in if you know somebody, if you're one of those people with one of those hidden disabilities that people don't realize, right? And it's not like you're going around with a big badge on your, big hat that says, hi, look at me, I got a hidden disability, be nice to me. You know what I mean? It doesn't work that way, right? But a lot of times people don't give enough grace, right? So anything that helps bring to light a little bit more, I believe your terms was creating a compassionate community. Is that?
Yes. Compassionate community.
So you're taking all these skills that you've learned and now applying it within the nonprofit space. And I know one of the topics that we had talked about, and there's so many ways that this cross applies, was storytelling. So when we were talking about, hey, what did you want to talk about and teach for the broadcast? Storytelling is a huge part of nonprofits, for-profits, right? And getting that marketing message out, especially right now where we're so into video, right? We want to know what's going on. We want to know what's going on behind the scenes, all the social media stuff, right? So storytelling just seems like a great way for us to move forward with all your projects.
Exactly. Yes, it all woven in. And it actually started, the thought of storytelling is, I'm not sure if they have Hobby Lobby in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
But okay. So Hobby Lobby's commercials used to be just showcasing their newest products for that season. It was showing a mantle with some creative artwork or showing a nice table setting. But I noticed around the Christmas holiday, they started doing story videos to market. You see a little girl in her play kitchen set making an apple pie as her dad is making a real apple pie. And it was like, okay, Hobby Lobby gets storytelling. Now we need to get storytelling, because I remember I can walk you through that entire commercial with that little girl making that apple pie. I can't tell you any of the products that I saw on those mantles. Storytelling makes a difference.
It does. We really remember things when there's a story attached to it. Absolutely. So I think we're going to have a lot of fun today diving into the whole concept of storytelling for your marketing. So whether you're a big business, small business, nonprofit, right? This applies to everybody. So, get your pen and paper out, get ready to take some notes or drop notes in the comments, right? And so you can help, everybody can help each other remember what the important parts were. But we're going to have a lot of fun with storytelling today. What do you think? Should we jump in?
I think so.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so storytelling, it's a marketing tool, and it helps you have your audience remember you. They say they're not going to remember if you were the greatest chess champion or things like that. But if you make someone feel something, if you are nice to them, they're going to remember that. And you can do that in your marketing. So we are hardwired for stories because they create an emotional connection. Before there were books, before there was the school that we know, before there was the word education, we told stories. That's how we shared our history. That's how we shared our values. That's how we shared everything that mattered to us, was sitting around that fire telling stories, sitting at home at the dinner table telling those stories. And stories make the complex relatable and memorable. Big ideas are great, but if you can't translate that to a simple story that someone's going to remember, then it's not going to leave a legacy. And for nonprofits and businesses, storytelling turns abstract causes into personal, tangible impacts. If you have a product, it's very easy to say, this is my product. You need it to help solve this problem. But if you have a service and lots of people have the same service, telling a story about how you're different, how that service makes an impact, and showing examples of it, that's what people are going to remember. So the power of emotional connection is people give to people, not causes. And people remember the emotions, and that drives action. You're not going to just give money to somebody on the street unless there's an emotional pull. And with the way that we are now more online than ever, that distance isn't just networking to your town, but to everyone. It gives you a greater chance to tell your story to more people and expand your customer base. And stories inspire empathy and loyalty amongst supporters. And that's a powerful drive. So there are key elements to every story. I was thinking about this. We have reality TV, but it's not really live. We don't watch somebody typically get up in the morning, go brush their teeth, think about breakfast, grab that first cup of coffee. We don't really watch anything live. Even when there's reality TV, they film a whole bunch of stuff, and then you have an editor and a director figure out the story within everything. And whether that story is actually accurate or just piecing some stuff together to create one, it's still a story. So your story needs 4 key elements: a hero, a clear conflict, a transformation, and then a call to action. And your hero is not you. I hope I didn't break anybody's heart, but it's not you. You are not the hero. You are the guide. You are the person with the solution, but you're not the hero. Your client, your donors, your anybody but you is the hero. And you need to showcase a real person or an animal. If your nonprofit is animal-based, serving animals, but somebody needs to have a face, something to grab hold of that people can relate to. You want to create a story that impacts your people. And then you need a conflict. If everybody's happy, nobody needs anything. So you need to find a problem that your hero has that you can solve. So it's not just any conflict. You're looking for something specific that you can help solve. You can remedy with a product, a service, or what your nonprofit is helping. And then you need a transformation. That's what makes it a story. Lots of people have problems, but when you bring in a solution, when your nonprofit helps people, when your product makes a difference, that's where you get people involved. That's where the emotions come in. And then you need a call to action to encourage your audience to do something. Buy the product, call you to set up for that 15-minute fit call, donate, volunteer. Your call to action can be a wide range of things, and it can change from different slides, different web pages, but you still always need to have a call to action. So that's the big picture.
All right. So
Let's
everybody write those down if you didn't catch those. So you need a hero, you need a conflict, a transformation, and a call to action. So your stories, those are, you got to have all those elements.
Yes. Each and every slide, each and every video, you need to be able to point out to what those are. But don't worry, the teacher in me has a real life example or two. So for Me and Barley, a celiac tale, this is my blog. And the overarching plan is a story-driven approach to blogging focused on personal connection, experiences, and community buildings. That means nothing. That's just a paragraph of words. But when you translate it to a story about how I faced a daily battle navigating life with celiac disease, immediately your audience thinks, oh, my sister has that, or my mom, or I know a girl in school or at work. And you start thinking about, who do you know? And then you talk about the struggle, the isolating effects that it has on you, and then learning about gluten detecting dogs. So who doesn't love a puppy? I mean, they're adorable. Even the Grinch loved dogs. So that's my story on that. And then transformation, the journey of receiving barley and then how we're going to impact the world. That gives me chills, because that's a real transformation for me. It's going to absolutely change my life. And then the call to action, follow our story, go onto the blog, sign up to get notices when a new blog post comes up, or find out when Barley's achieved a great milestone. That's the call to action. That is not just sitting there saying, oh, that's a great story. That's sitting there saying, oh, that's a great story. I need to act. So that's more of a little personal. To do something bigger, Access Unleashed, the nonprofit. People with hidden disabilities often remain in the shadows. There are, I believe it's 1 in 6 has a hidden disability. And that's in the entire world. That's not just in the US. I imagine those numbers would be higher in just the US. His hidden disabilities cover everything from PTSD, anxiety, MS, diabetes, dementia. It's a wide range. You can think of somebody with a hidden disability if you do not have one yourself. It leaves them disconnected and misunderstood. There's your conflict. And it's something that people can immediately grab onto. The transformation is Access Unleashed builds bridges through education, advocacy, and service dog support. And then your action is to support, share, or learn. Really simple, broad-based. I'm not saying definitely give money, definitely do this, do that, but you're giving people a direction to take their emotions into an action. And that's all storytelling and marketing is about. Taking your emotions, putting it into an action. Where do you find these stories? They're everywhere. Your clients, the people who benefit from your products or your services. If you're a nonprofit, your volunteers. Each one of those volunteers has a very personable reason for why they're helping you. Donors, they're not just giving money away because there's so much of it. They're doing it because there's a purpose and a reason. Behind the scenes, everybody has behind the scenes, whether you're sitting at your computer working on a paper or a new product, creating social media, taking your kids to the doctors, and in between that, working on your next reel for your business. Everybody has a behind the scenes. And then event highlights. If you go to a business meeting, that's a chance to do a great video talking about the people you met or the things you learned, or an event fundraiser. These are all things that can pretty much easily be used for any business, and gives you a lot of ways to talk and share stories. Real life example, gotta love those. So this is Ellie and her sweet gluten detection dog, Oakley. She was diagnosed with celiac at age 7. Her entire family went gluten-free to keep her safe. And then Ellie grew up. That's the hero. It's all about Ellie. The conflict is when she went to college, people didn't understand the importance of gluten-free living, and her life got very scary and very hard. The transformation was when Oakley came into her life, and now she lives free in ways that she had never experienced before in public. And then the call to action is find out more, follow the blog, that sort of thing. So it's basically every time you post something, every time you create social media, every time you put up a new web page on your website, think of where's the hero, where's the conflict, what's the transformation that you provide with your service, product, nonprofit, and then call to action. What do you want them to do at the end of the story? So storytelling formats. How do you tell a story? With video, you've got visuals, which is your photos, your video, and infographics, which is basically just a little bit of information on that you can post as a JPEG on your website, on social media. Written, blog posts, newsletters, social media captions. Every caption you have should have a hero, your conflict, your transformation, and a call to action. It doesn't have to be long, but it needs to have those key elements. Interactive means that you're interacting with your audience. Reels, live streams, Q&A sessions, and then events. That's everything from fundraisers, community gatherings, to networking events, speech, podcast events. All of those things are a chance to tell a story. So, real life examples. We have people sharing through Instagram the videos. There are doggy videos explaining their journey, what they've learned. Then this is actually a blog post from a school that received a service dog and how that service dog has impacted daily school life. So you have a wide variety of places to reach out to, and you have a wide variety of topics to talk about. You don't have to start with all of them. Pick one or two, focus on them, get really good at storytelling, and then expand as you're comfortable and as you learn more. That's the beauty of all of this. It's pick and choose and just go at your pace, because it's not going to happen overnight, so you can get really good at it. Storytelling on social media, that's everything from Instagram Reels, Facebook posts, TikTok videos. Be short and engaging captions. People don't want to read a book on social media. But when you're doing those short, engaging captions, if you have that hero, conflict, transformation, it helps you create a story without all the extra fluff. Leverage your hashtags for reach and relevance. People can search that. And so you want to be intentional with what you use. And your call to action, encourage sharing. Ask followers to repost or tag friends. That's a call to action. And it's easy and engaging and expands your reach because people want to share stories. And that's what it's about.
Right. There's nothing like a story that really tugs at your heart, right? We don't even think twice when we start sharing something that we're like, oh my goodness, right? And you send it to a friend, you send it to a family member, right?
Mm-hmm.
Happens all the time organically. That's the power of a really good story.
I definitely have friends that all we do is send back funny stories and memes. Like, I don't think we've actually talked in years. It's just whatever funny thing we saw, that's what we send back and forth. So storytelling is effective, but you need to be authentic. You need to be real. And if you're telling a story that isn't real, people can tell. So be genuine and don't be afraid to show the hardness, the difficulties, those behind the scene moments, because that's what's going to connect with your audience. Keep it simple. Don't use technical jargon, marketing jargon, all of those things that we sometimes seem not that we know because we do it every day. Most of the time, our audience isn't going to understand that. So focus on the human element, the story. Also focus on one story at a time. Don't overwhelm your audience because they're going to get lost. And if they're trying to figure out what's happening, they're not following with the story. And then they're not going to follow up with your call to action. Use data, incorporate numbers to add credibility. Statistics are great. Facts, because it shows, one, that you're knowledgeable about your subject, and two, it makes it very real and helps with the being authentic because you're not just making it up. Side note, if you look into AI and ask them for statistics, if they don't give you where they found it, AI probably made it up. I had this happen. Double check. Ask AI where it came from if it doesn't list it. That's just a little bonus for today. And then always end with a call to action. You always want your audience to know how they can help, how they can support, how they can get that product or that service. They need to know next step. Real life example. So this is Oakley. And the story is about Ellie's family was actually able to raise the money, but over 60% of people with hidden disabilities cannot afford the cost of a service dog, and it's a major barrier to independence. So that's the data, and it's relevant to the story. So it's very intentionally put in there. It's very authentic. Talks about how Access Unleashed program comes in, what we do to help people raise money, secure tax deductible donations, and reach their goals faster. And then every story, like Ellie and Oakley, shows the life-changing impact of these incredible companions. Call to action. You can be a part of this change. Support the program, share your message, and donate today to make independence possible for someone in need. That tugs at people's heartstrings. That speaks to people in a real, authentic way, and that's going to get your call to action followed. So one of the ways that you can measure if this is working is your typical track likes and shares, and that's called engagement metrics. Also, your conversion rates. How many people saw your message and then followed with your call to action? They made a donation. They signed up to volunteer. They attended an event. And then also ask your audience for feedback. If there is a post that does really well, ask some people, hey, why did you like that post? Or collect testimonials, do surveys at your events. There's lots of ways to get that audience feedback. And people like telling you how you do. So that's a good thing sometimes. My call to action, because I can't do a topic on storytelling, talk about call to action, and then not give you one. So start integrating storytelling in your marketing strategy today. It doesn't matter what you do. Marketing is ingrained, needed part of your journey as a business owner, nonprofit, and you can integrate this today with the simple hero, conflict, transformation, call to action. Identify your best stories and the platforms to share them on. Jot down a couple of things. A client you worked with that you know has a great before and after story, a product that you want to launch. What's some stories that you can create about that? A nonprofit, you've always got volunteers, donors, lots of things. Think about the story and then also think about what's the best platform to share it. Is a video a good thing? Is a Facebook post, a blog? The stories can help you figure out what's best for it. And then be consistent about sharing those stories and how to engage with them and grow your audience. And so that's where we're at. Thank you, everybody, for listening, for having a chance to let me share more about my heart and this dramatic change that I've gone through. And that storytelling, the Hobby Lobby commercial really stuck with me. So I'm really excited I got to give this presentation and say kudos, Hobby Lobby. You did really good.
Well, in Texas, we believe in the power of Hobby Lobby.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going to go ahead and drop the link to your LinkedIn. This way people can reach out and connect with you and, reach out and have a conversation with Anna. Maybe there is something about this that just really rang for you, right? Just like, oh my goodness, yes, this is something I'm experiencing. This is something a family member, a friend is experiencing, right? So reach out and have a conversation. This is how this grows organically, right? It's how we talk to each other and help each other with our storytelling. Right there, I also see we have a QR code. So scan that, get on Anna's calendar, right? She's got this whole concept of branding down to such an art that just having a brief, no cost conversation with her might drastically change the way you look at your marketing and your business and how you use storytelling specifically.
Yeah, I'd love to chat, talk about it, find out what makes your brand tick. Because when you figure out why you do what you do, it's so much easier to tell stories about it.
Well, and I know when I think about storytelling, some people are a little bit reluctant, right? They're like, they want to show the highlight reels. They want to show this is when everything is perfect. But I always say this, when things are perfect, it's really not very memorable.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It's when things go wrong and you recover from it that we remember the stories, right? So it's okay to show that conflict, right? So any advice for people that are a little nervous about being quite that transparent?
I think once you do it once, it's a lot easier to do it a second and third time. So whatever you need to do to, gather that courage and be vulnerable, I think you're going to be surprised though how people react. It's going to be encouraging. It's going to be uplifting. And I think you're going to find people say, hey, I have that problem too, or I struggle with that, or wow, I didn't think anybody really understood what I'm going through. And you not only encourage your audience, you get encouragement right back at you. And that's an amazing thing. So take that leap, whatever you need to do, and know that it gets easier as you keep doing it.
I often talk about finding your tribe, right? You're drawing in the right kind of people, right? So the more authentic you are, right, the more you share who you truly are, and the more transparent you are, the more you're going to draw your ideal people towards you, right?
Yeah.
What a game changer at that point. With your project here that you're working on, because you mentioned transitioning into this nonprofit, who are you trying to attract?
That's a good question. I'm trying to attract people who have a hidden disability and want to learn more about how to navigate that from someone who has actively had to fight that in that space. I want to encourage others and also create a safe space for us to talk. I'm also looking to network with people who see what I'm doing and want to help, want to support with your special skill sets. Maybe you're a social media guru. I can't do everything and I'm looking for help. And this isn't just a me project. My heart's to help others. And I know other people, when they hear it, are like, oh, I want to get on board too. So, and then people with service dogs. I want to interview. I want to hear your story. I want to share your story with others because as person who's working towards that, it is such an encouragement to hear somebody who's gone through that process and now they're living that life that I'm just waiting 18 more months for.
I imagine that the stories would be very compelling on both sides of that. We talked about compelling stories, and I'm just imagining that, life before barley, right?
Yes.
What kinds of struggles you run into on a daily basis. Like you said, a lot of times you're afraid to leave the house because of something that might go wrong and can be so devastating, right? And so I can see those kinds of stories coming through and being very compelling, and people being able to go, yes, I relate to that, right? And at the same time, the other side of it, of learning how to re-navigate life with barley by your side.
Yes. It's going to be very strange going from me to me and a four-legged puppy that goes everywhere with me. And I'm excited about the journey. And I thought when I started this process, I couldn't tell my story until Barley was by my side. But the truth is, Barley not by my side is just as much of a chance for storytelling as when she comes into my life. And it was eye-opening for me to learn that you always have a story to tell. And there's almost always someone who's going to be like, I get you. I understand where you're at. And we're built for connection. We're built for stories. And recognizing there already always is one is comforting to know.
Well, so for those that have, thought about maybe, getting a service dog might be helpful, but maybe they were feeling overwhelmed at the idea of where to even start and the cost, right? Any ideas for them?
Do your research. Reach out to people who've had service dogs, find out where they've gotten them, find out what you're comfortable with. I have no backbone. I could never train a puppy to sit and stay. I'd be like, oh, you're so cute, do whatever you want. And that's not possible for a service dog. So find out what works for you. And then when you make that plan, be confident in it. You wouldn't believe how many people have already come up to me and say, that's a lot of money for a dog. I'm like, I'm not paying for a dog. I'm paying for a service animal that's going to give me my life back. You can't put a price on that. You can, but it makes it much easier to fundraise and figure out ideas. And some creative things are coming out of it. So don't let the cost keep you from something that you need that will, can help you in the future.
So is this nonprofit going to kind of help people down that journey towards getting their dogs and helping them navigate some of that?
Yes. Right now, as I'm fundraising, anyone who donates to me, it's not a tax deductible item. And because I'm not a nonprofit. But my goal is with Access Unleashed is that people who want a service dog can come under our ambassador program and start using their network and their connections to fundraise. And anyone who fundraises under that ambassador program can have a tax write-off. And they'll get the skills, the ideas, the encouragement, and the community they need in that journey to fundraise. It's scary to ask people for money, even when it's a good cause. And when it's for you and you can't say, oh, this is tax deductible, so I need you to give truly out of the goodness of your heart, it's hard. And I want Access Unleashed to be one of the ways that it eliminates that barrier by giving you a community, giving you support, and letting it be about helping others in service.
So for those that are feeling overwhelmed, this sounds like a great project to get involved in and learn the process and change your life, right? Yeah. I think people have heard terms if they're not familiar with celiac or maybe some of the others, they may not always understand how that impacts people on a daily basis, right? You hear it, but do you process it, right? Like you said, we don't see reality TV from when they woke up till they decide what to eat to what they're going to do next, right? Yes. A day in the life of anybody with a hidden disability, I think, is an eye-opening experience to be able to understand how it changes your life to be able to do the things that you couldn't do before, living in fear. I know with mine, I have super allergies, right? And so going out to eat, people are like, let's go to a buffet. And I'm like, that is like my worst nightmare because I don't know what's in anything. Does it sound familiar?
Yes. Yes.
So you understand what I'm talking about, but people without allergies are like, what? Right? They might know me and they might know that I have allergies, but they're not realizing like how complicated that makes your life. Yes. Whatever your hidden disability is, it has a big impact on those that are living it every day. So storytelling is one of those ways to kind of get the word out and let people know this is how other people live. It may not be your life, but it might be somebody that you know. It could be a family member. It could be a friend, right? So storytelling, if we don't share those stories, then people don't know. Yeah. They really don't understand. So storytelling is an opportunity to share with others. So we almost have I'm going to say an obligation to help educate people that don't know. Right? The idea of people coming up to you and saying, oh, you don't deserve that parking plaque, because we
Yeah.
can't see your disability. Oh my goodness, that just breaks my heart,
Mhm.
right? The idea that someone has gotten what they needed to help support them, and then other people are going to shame them because they can't see your disability. That's just heartbreaking.
Yeah, it really is. And once you're educated and you can make a grace-filled decision, it really opens up your whole world. And my goal is educating, advocating, and just even if you don't have a hidden disability, that doesn't mean you're going to always go through life without one either.
Right. Definitely. Some things happen later in life. Not any more fun then either.
Yes. Yeah.
You'd be wishing that you had a little bit more understanding and grace from those around you probably at that point. So yeah, whatever we can do to make that transition smoother for everybody. Right. So I love that you are being so transparent and sharing your story with us, which then helps us think about our stories and our struggles and how we can use those for whatever the purpose is, whether it's a nonprofit or a for-profit, right? A small business, a larger business, right? We're using stories to help build those relationships with our audience, to help build our tribe and help attract the kind of people that, we can relate with and they can relate to us. So storytelling, my goodness, I am just amazed at what you came and brought to the table today, Anna. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any last tidbits or words of advice? I'm going to leave it up for another minute where you can schedule a meeting and let's talk. Go ahead and scan that. Make an appointment with Anna and have a conversation with her. She's got all sorts of pearls of wisdom from storytelling and much further than that. So don't miss out on that opportunity.
Yeah. Well, I greatly appreciate this chance to tell my story. As I said, I was here a couple months ago talking about branding, and your story evolves. So even if you're telling one story today, tomorrow it could be quite different.
It is. And then your brand, follow that through all the way, right? So whatever your business, your nonprofit, whatever it is, build it together, right? Find somebody that you can work with that can help you build out and bring out the best in the stories and help develop your group and your tribe and connect with your audience. This is going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to coming back and watching this again. So if you missed anything, rewatch it and catch on. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. Thank you so much, Anna, for coming and sharing with us today. This was another great opportunity. We do this marketing broadcast every Tuesday. And actually next Tuesday, we're going to be doing our marketing broadcast. It's our summit. So the second Tuesday of January, we always do a marketing summit. So from 8 a.m. Pacific time until 3 p.m. Pacific time next Tuesday, we're going to be broadcasting live for that whole time period with over 10 different marketers that are kind of bringing things to the table. So this is going to be exciting. So if you haven't checked us out, be sure to check us out. You want to come hang out with us. We love this. So go to givermarketing.com/summit and go register and come be part of this. This is going to be fun. We're going to be hanging out in our Facebook group, and we'll be answering questions and people will be giving presentations and we're going to have some networking going on. So it's really going to be a lot of fun. I think you've got us all thinking like, yeah, I am ready to take my marketing to the next level in 2025. So way to start us off there, Anna.
Anytime.
Absolutely. We will see you all soon. So next Tuesday's broadcast is going to be an all-day affair. So come play with us. We'll have a good time and we will see you soon.
All right. Thank you, everybody.